Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria again. I have so many things on my heart to talk about. I was going to go live tonight. It's Tuesday. I'm not able to tonight, so I thought I'd do this video today. And that is a kind of top of the trees review of December 2023, what we might expect, and Mercury retrograde. Okay, so welcome to the Soul Nurture channel. If this is your first time, consider just taking a couple minutes with me, see if I vibe with you, see if something I say speaks to you. That is my soul mission, to inspire, to illuminate the path before us, to bring hope, to cultivate inspiration. Did I already say inspiration? I feel like I need a little inspiration today. I personally, and I invite you to pause and check in with yourself today as well. I just felt today this kind of a sinking, kind of heavy, kind of a little sad feeling on my heart, and I'm not clear what it is yet. When you are a sensitive being or an empath, like I identify with for myself, it is sometimes challenging to know if you, being a sponge, have absorbed somebody else's stuff or the collective stuff, or just something kind of brewing inside of you. So I'm not quite sure yet. I just wanted to put that out there and give you permission to be real with where you are, to check in, to feel in, to really connect to your mind, your body, your heart, and your emotions. They're great communicators. They're great guides, right? So, okay. This is something new. I did get a request from someone. Can you do an overview for the month? This is my first time trying it. We'll see how it goes. I will be doing the new moon video coming up in a couple days as well. And I also, it's on my heart today after working with a client today who is, grieving, as many of you are. The holidays can be the hardest time for grief. And so I went over some ideas to support my client, and I thought maybe it would be helpful for some of you out there. So I may do a video tomorrow, navigating the holidays with grief. How do you take care of yourself and teach others to be with you with your grief? So if you're interested in that, let me know, but I'm probably going to do it. It's on my heart strong. So, okay. Welcome to December, even though it's now December 5th as I'm recording this. Can you feel a shift in December? What do you notice? I mean, we've had some significant shifts astrologically, and we're going to be going into a Mercury retrograde on the 12th. So we are technically in what's called the shadow of Mercury retrograde, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. And some astrologers say that this is more the wonky time, the shadow of Mercury, when maybe you'll have some challenges with electronics, with strange things coming up that you thought you had taken care of, and they're not resolved. So I'm going to talk more about Mercury retrograde at the end, but I just want to talk about the top of the trees. What's going on and what we may be feeling. But again, you're the expert of you. What are you noticing? For some people in general, December is a joyous month. For some people like me, when the transiting sun goes into my 12th house, which is the house of retreating, I feel like I just kind of pull in. But that's in general. And then there's all this other celestial, astrological weather going on, and every day is different. So how are you feeling? What are you noticing as we are now in the last month of the year, which I don't think anybody checked with me to see if it was time and I felt good with it being the end of the month. I'm not ready. I don't feel ready. Do you? But it is what it is. Now, what will we do with what is? I like to say that to that saying. It is what it is, but now what can you do with what is? Okay. So, and along those lines, I do offer an annual end of the year. I've been doing this since 2020, and before that, before I was on YouTube with my clients, end of the year review. and I will be doing a video on that. It's an opportunity to reflect on the year you just grew through, what you learned, what lessons you practiced and were strengthened by, what strengths you have, what gifts arrived, and also kind of preparing you for visioning for the new year. Even though astrologically the new year isn't until spring, the calendar new year is a wonderful time to kind of, it's like a blank canvas. Like, okay, this is what I did this last year, calendar year. What do I want to create in the new year? And I'm playing with, I always come up with a phrase, like, so 2024. So far, all I have is 2024, the year to explore possibilities, literally go out and explore your world, explore your thoughts, explore your philosophy, explore your purpose, explore relationship. 2024, the year to explore. What do you think? Okay, here we go. So, let me just go from the beginning of what shifted so far. Mercury entered Capricorn on December 1st. So you may be feeling that, from Sagittarius into Capricorn, even though during the retrograde, it will go back into Sagittarius for a little bit, but we're now in the sobering, Capricorn. Mercury is how we communicate, our thoughts. And it's, for me, I do feel like this, oh yeah, I've got some things to take care of, and more of a serious undertone of that. Of course, moon's in Virgo has been the last 2 days. So that also is kind of like, you may have noticed, oh my goodness, I've got a lot to do and I want to get busy. And it's like taking responsibility, which is kind of an overall theme for this month, taking personal responsibility for your life, for the things you need to do. Then we had Venus moved into Scorpio, out of Libra, where it loves being, because Venus is ruled, or Libra is ruled by Venus. I've got something floating in front of me. Now it's in this, passionate, intense scorpionic energy. Venus in Scorpio can take us to the depths of looking at relationships, our relationship with money, also relationship with others, our relationship with our deep desires and creativity. So Venus will be in Scorpio until December 29th, when then it goes into Sagittarius. Okay. Also, Neptune stationing direct on December 6th, which is tomorrow, which is interesting about that, because where I live in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, we're having what is called an atmospheric river. In other words, there's so much rain. It's just like, there are some flood warnings in some areas. And I thought that was interesting with Neptune connected to water and in watery Pisces. And I can talk, I really can. I get really excited on these videos, and I get, I go too fast. And this is a reminder to say to you, for this month, especially with the Mercury retrograde, please practice this advice from me. Pace with grace. Okay. So that Neptune going direct, we're going to be called more towards our dreams, what we're dreaming about, literally our nightly dreams. And then also what we are visioning for that may have felt kind of, unclear and cloudy. And now we're moving forward with that. Okay. And so this, Capricorn energy, it's still Capricorn. I'm sorry, it's still Sagittarius season, but the Capricorn energy as we move to the winter solstice on December 21st, and Mercury in Capricorn is kind of like, okay, it's just, I don't want to say sobering again, but that keeps coming, but stabilizing what you have planned for your future, and what things you've delayed, and now you're wanting to review, because it's still review time with Mercury retrograde, but now that Neptune's direct, it's more flow. There's some flow. There you go. All right. So I already mentioned Mercury, and then we have a new moon on December 12th in Sagittarius. I will do a separate video on that. Sun enters Capricorn. It is on the northern on the 21st of December. I know I've said this before, but being an empath or a projector empath, I feel like you're getting me without saying all the words. So I want to get the words in there for you. So December 21st, the sun enters Capricorn. Technically, it's Capricorn season. And I'll probably do a winter solstice video as well, but it's almost your time to celebrate Capricorns, but Sagittarians are still having their fun. Okay. So it'll be in the northern hemisphere. It is the winter solstice, and the summer solstice is in the southern hemisphere. So, okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, December 26th is the full moon in Cancer. Remember, it'll be the sun is in Capricorn, so the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer. Opposition is the full moon, the sun opposite the moon. Okay. Can I blame it on the pre-shadow of Mercury? I will. I am. Mercury retrograde. It's already playing with me. December 29th, I already mentioned, Venus will enter into Sagittarius. So after this deep dive into our relationships for a while it's in Venus and Scorpio, really getting to, secrets revealed, things we haven't talked about, like it's the shadow of the relationship, the shadow of money, things that it's now a deeper dive, a deeper connection. And it can feel a little bit more intense, a little bit more serious. But then when Venus enters Sagittarius on the 29th, just in time for the New Year's, it's a lot more playful, fun, light. Okay. It's like, okay, Sagittarius is like, can we play now? I mean, have we done enough work, right? Then on the 30th of December, again, just before the New Year, Jupiter goes direct in Taurus. So this may be a return now to more opportunities and creating more stability and security. And when it was retrograde, there may have been a delay, and like, why can't I figure this thing out? Why can't I move towards my foundational security? And I think with it going direct, you'll feel that more readily available. Is there anything else? Okay, now those are the top of the trees. I mentioned now, this is what I wanted to focus on. Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Now, initially it'll be in Capricorn when it retrogrades. And like I said, we're in the pre-shadow. So 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. Let me give you the dates again, so you're aware. Okay, so the retrograde begins on December 12th and will continue until January 1st, 2024, the year to explore. I'm not sure if I like that yet. What do you think? 2024, things you can't ignore. 2024, the opening of a door. I do believe that's true. I do believe 2024, for a lot of us, it's going to be, we've been waiting. And if you watch my video on the liminal spaces, I feel like 2024, especially when Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's now moving towards the anaretic degree of 29 degrees Capricorn, which is like, again, this month is about take care of those things you haven't dealt with. It's because the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, it's the last degree before it moves into the next sign, is like, have you completed the assignment that came with Pluto and Capricorn? How have your structures in your life been? Where, taking responsibility for things, creating a foundation, getting more serious about your potential and your purpose. We're seeing this out playing in our government. There's a lot of, it's government too, Capricorn. The structures of our government that are really wonky right now. We're in the middle of, yes, a big transformation. Some people think one thing's going to happen. Some people think another thing happens. I say there's truth on all sides of the perspectives, but ultimately we are going through a huge transformation. Huge. What's going to happen with our government? I hold hope that the division gets settled and we find our way to some agreement, right? And I do think, like, highest possibility, I heard someone talking about it. What if there was a split ticket, a Democratic president and a Republican vice president, right? Something unique and innovative is going to happen with our government. Same is applying with you in your structure, the way you govern yourself. You know, like you have to, we are right now looking at what's not working still. What's not working? Are you done with that? Like, we get it. Things aren't working. So when Pluto does move into Aquarius, it's going to be that, and we already had a taste of it. In 2024, we'll have a little bit more. It's going to go back in Capricorn for one last, like, are you sure you got the message? Are you sure you've reconstructed, reconfigured so that we could rebuild something better, right? But in 2024, I think it's in January, it goes into Aquarius, more visioning, more like wanting to create, evoke change that benefits all of humanity, not one side or the other. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. So yeah, because retrograde's in Capricorn, initially cardinal earth sign, you know, it is again back to, and I'm talking about Mercury retrograde. It's connected to working hard for the things we desire, having some discipline, tradition. And I do want to talk about this in particular because during this holiday month, whatever you celebrate, you know, whatever traditions you have, I had some notes about this I wanted to read. It's a good time to review, like, why do we do this tradition, right? Like, I know, like, my husband and I and his family, we talked about it. We are not going to do presents this year, or gifts. I'm going to say gifts and things. We're not buying gifts and things. We have enough stuff. We have enough. We are cultivating time together. The gift of presence, not presents, right? Being with each other, really connecting, watching movies, playing games, just being, eating good food, right? So that's sort of the idea here. Review your traditions, and do they nourish and nurture your soul? Are they just kind of like the thing you do, and it's like kind of, you can do something different? Remember, in general, retrogrades are all the RE words, right? Review, reassess, redesign, revisit, reimagine is a good one, right? So this Mercury retrograde taking place during the holiday season may find us changing up those traditions and around celebration. And instead of traditions, I invite you to more rituals. Rituals are more sacred. They feel like divinely connected. This is from me speaking, but rituals are more symbolic and more soul-filling to me. Tradition is just like, yeah, we've always done it this way. Ritual is, oh, that feels really right for me, for my soul. And so this is a time to really consider some of those rituals for yourself. Let's see what else. So remember, you can get all your RE words out. When I was on Instagram, I'm really not on Instagram anymore. I'm not on Facebook. I'm like slowly shedding these old places. I don't feel called to interact there. I feel called here on YouTube. Why? Because I could sit down and talk with you. And I do want to do more lives so we can interact. And my outreach so far has been way better on YouTube. I don't know if it's because people like to feel the person, you know, that they're wanting to connect with, and maybe you get a better chance of doing that than just reading some of my memes or posts on Instagram. So I'm not there right now. I may be back. I don't know. I'm really myself. I have been in this huge, deep reconstruction of my being, of my philosophy. I've got Pluto transiting my first house. Does anybody else have that? You'd be a late degree Capricorn. Because it's almost, I'm 26 degrees Capricorn. So Pluto has been sitting on my ascendant for a while. It's moved off, but it's still in my first house. So want to know if you have that experience. I'm curious, and what it's been like for you. Okay. So also in retrogrades, you know, especially during the holiday season, this is a good time to reach out to people you haven't connected with for a while, or, you know, and especially if you've transformed a lot and you want to, as I call it, get current with each other. Like, this is who I am now. Who are you? What's happening? I do want to encourage you, though, if you haven't been in contact with someone because you had a falling out, and maybe, it's time for you to review and take personal responsibility for your side of that and offer an apology. And I do want to say this about apologies because I won't go into anything personal, but I know for me, an apology is not about the person who caused the harm, it's the person who felt harmed. In other words, if you're going to apologize, don't say, well, this is what was going on with me and I, no. An apology is something like this. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I said that. I'm sorry that I did that. Take responsibility for the action, for the words that caused the harm. That is a true apology. Not about you. It's about the person who's trying to heal. Okay. So you may hear from people from your past, or you may feel like you want to reach out to them. And this is really important since it's the holiday season. I did make a note of, for those of you traveling, this is going to be an opportunity for you to really, really, really practice patience and awareness. And like, this is, again, Mercury retrograde isn't a bad thing. It's a slow down and really be aware. And so you want to double check all of your plans, all of your flights, your transport, whatever the details of that. Really pay attention to the details. Double check. This, I don't normally, not always get insurance for my flights, but I would encourage you to get the insurance. Carry on your bag if you can, because, Mercury retrograde, wonky things can happen. Not always. Bag could be lost or things are delayed. So it's, pace with grace time. Pace with grace, okay? So not to fear. Don't fear this. All retrogrades, especially Mercury retrograde, they're purposeful. They offer us an opportunity to really just kind of check where we're at. Slow down, review, reassess. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. But it's a good time also in December to start reviewing, since we're in a Mercury retrograde, really start reviewing your past year. What did you learn? Where were you stuck in a pattern? What story, what belief, what stuff isn't working? This is really a good time to look at it, not to shame yourself, but to get real. So you can say, now what do I want to do differently? There's a lot of good things ahead of you. What's ahead of you? Again, I say this all the time, prepare for what's ahead of you. And preparing means really checking your beliefs, your patterns, being honest. You know what? This isn't working. This no longer works for me. That is taking personal responsibility and communicating that to people. This doesn't work for me anymore. I was in a pattern of codependency. I see it now. I was worried about you more than you were worried about yourself. I was taking care of you more than I was taking care of myself. That doesn't work for me anymore. Me being a people pleaser, I used to always put everybody else before myself. That doesn't work for me anymore. So identify the things that don't work for you anymore. So then you can decide what would work better. What will it look like? This is getting you into the visioning. What would it look like? What would be different? And ultimately, what do you need to believe about yourself? And teach people, this is who I am. So in other words, you do the inner change, the inner shift. I am claiming that I am worthy of all that I desire. I am claiming that and I'm saying these for you, that I am good enough. I am claiming that, I'm abundant. I'm claiming that I'm healthy. And then you communicate that to people. In the past, I taught you that I wasn't worthy. In the past, I taught you from my old unconscious programming that I wasn't good enough. Let me get clear with you. I'm now claiming that I am good enough. And so I'm going to be doing things differently. And it may seem like I'm not myself. And I don't want to be that old self. I don't want to be the old self that believed she wasn't good enough. I am rising up as a woman, as a man. This is you speaking. I'm speaking for you. I'm guiding you to find your own narrative, your own new narrative. I am now practicing in this way of being. And then invite your friends to say, and family, this is how you can help me. I do this with my husband. If you see me sliding back into doubt and fear or not good enough, I want you to call me on that and say, wait a minute. I met somebody else. I met the Victoria that knows her worth, that knows her value, that knows she's good enough. Can you bring her back? This is something we can do with those we love, because those who love us can call us back to loving ourselves, to being our highest possibility, being in our soul essence, not in our wounded human experience. Okay, now I'm going off on a tangent as I do, but I just wish you the most joyous, beautiful December possible, whether you're in the Northern Hemisphere moving into winter or in the Southern Hemisphere moving into your summer. I just had this thought, how fun would it be if I could live the summer here in the Northern Hemisphere and then go to Australia and have a second summer? Wouldn't that be awesome? I imagine people do that, just chase the sun. Anyway, I just want to say this from my heart and soul to yours. I know that life is heavy in a lot of areas, and especially because we're in collective transformational times, and in that we get to see the ugly underbelly of things that are no longer working. I encourage you to keep the light of hope. When you see what's wrong in the world, vision something greater. But I would invite you to not let it be an agenda, like it's got to be this or it won't be okay, but rather a prayer for the highest good for all without an agenda, the highest healing for all without it, how it looks, the highest possibilities for all. Okay. And I just want to send you so much love. I truly do care about you. I thank you, all of my viewers, those of you who email me privately, those of you who comment, and I hope that you do comment on this video. Tell me what some of the traditions are that you're revisiting and are going to redo, and what might they look like. And tell me what, if you feel comfortable, what's not working anymore and what do you want to revision, reimagine, and then vision for the new possibilities. All right, you take good care of yourselves. You know, you're worth it. You are. And you've got a lot of potential and possibility in you that the world needs. So nurture that soul, nurture your possibilities, and nurture yourself. Okay, so much love coming your way. Take good care. Until next time.